Hello, dear listener. If you're hearing these words on a quiet evening, let me wish you a peaceful night's sleep. But before you close your eyes, I invite you to join me on a very special journey, a trip back in time, not for adventure or conquest, but simply to experience a single, ordinary day in medieval Europe. Are you ready? Don't worry. Everything is just imagination. Whatever happens, you are always safe, warm, and comfortable in your own bed. Now, let your body relax and gently close your eyes. Can you feel the world around you slowly changing? The noise of traffic, the sounds of phones, the glow of television, all begin to fade. Instead, listen for the soft wind, the distant crow of a rooster, the crackle of fire in an old clay hearth. Welcome to a very normal day in the life of a medieval peasant over 700 years ago. You might be thinking, oh, it's just one day. How hard could it be? But walk with me, moment by moment, breath by breath, through every small hardship, every simple joy, and let's see if you could truly make it through a single day. You open your eyes in a world shrouded in morning mist. The sun hasn't fully risen, but the first sounds of the day already drift in. Somewhere at the edge of the village, a proud rooster crows, marking the start of a new day. The air is colder than you expect. There's no heater, no tightly sealed windows. You curl deeper into a thick woolen blanket, feeling cold air slipping through the cracks of a rickety wooden door. You look around. A small cottage, earth walls, a thick straw roof. There's no electricity, no LED lights. The only glow comes from the embers in the hearth. A small pot sits above the fire, holding a thin porridge left over from last night. Sometimes you wonder, how did I end up here? But this is normal life for millions of people across centuries. Nothing unusual for them at all. You listen as footsteps move quietly outside. Maybe it's your mother, rising early to tend the fire. The sound of dry sticks, the gentle thud of kindling, the earthy smell of wood smoke. It all blends into a familiar symphony that only exists in ancient villages. You slip out of bed, bare feet touching the cold, hard floor. There are no slippers, no polished floorboards or cozy rugs, just hard-packed earth, chilly and firm beneath your toes. You stretch and let out a long yawn. A new day is beginning. The first task of the day isn't scrolling on your phone or opening a laptop. It's building a big, warm fire. You search for dry sticks to add to the hearth. Your cold hands tingle as you grip the wood, suddenly realizing the true value of every stick and every chunk of coal in your home. After getting the fire going, you pick up a wooden bucket and step out into the yard. Dawn hasn't fully broken. The world is gray and misty, with dew soaking your shoulders. You walk to the village well and draw up water. Each bucket is heavy, but you've been doing this since you were a child. The water is icy cold, crystal clear, but no one dares drink it unboiled. You bring the water back inside, pour it into a pot, and add a little bit of oats and salt. A simple breakfast of thin porridge, sometimes with a piece of stale bread to dip and make it easier to eat. There's no strawberry jam, no butter, no fried eggs, and certainly no coffee. Sometimes you long for sweetness or richness, but in this era, such foods are luxuries. The adults in the house hurry out to the barn to feed the cows, collect fresh milk, and check on the pigs and chickens. Everyone is busy. No one sits around chatting in the morning. The new day means a long chain of hard work awaits in the fields. Outside, the sun slowly rises. The first golden rays pierce the thinning mist and touch the straw rooftops. You wrap yourself in a thick cloak, getting ready for the day's work in the fields. Clothes here are mostly hand-woven, coarse and rough, in shades of gray and brown, sturdy, but uncomfortable. On cold days, you simply wear more layers. You wipe your face with a rough cloth. There's no hot water, no fragrant soap, and certainly no moisturizer. Personal hygiene here is as simple as it gets. Washing with cold water, wiping off with a cloth, and if you're lucky, bathing once a month. You can't help but smile, thinking of the modern bathrooms of the 21st century. Here, such things are unimaginable luxuries. You smell straw, smoke, and earth blending together in the morning air. What seems simple is actually the essence of medieval life. No makeup, no perfume, only the raw sense of earth and people. Breakfast ends quickly, and the whole family gets ready to head to the fields. Children run ahead, while adults grab hoes and shovels, hurrying after them. The new day is truly beginning. You step outside, and a cold breeze instantly stings your face, making you shiver. The morning air in a medieval village is never truly pleasant, humid in summer, bone-chilling in winter. Fortunately, you still have your mother's old hand-knitted wool cloak, thrown over a coarse linen tunic and a rough hemp shirt beneath. Everything is homemade, hand-dyed, in faded browns and grays, sometimes patched with awkward stitches. Clothing in these times is never fashionable, nor is there much choice. Most people own just 2 or 3 outfits, one for daily wear, one for special occasions or going to the market, and one spare for patching and mending. Clothes tear easily and are constantly repaired. Rough stitches, uneven seams, and frayed fabric are normal, but every piece is precious. As for footwear, you only have heavy shoes made from cowhide or pigskin with hard soles, nothing like modern sneakers. You clean them with a dry rag or wild grass, sometimes rinse them in the river if they're muddy. These shoes are stiff and uncomfortable, but no one complains. That's just life. You pause and remember. In the modern world, bathing, changing clothes, and self-care are taken for granted. But here, everything is a challenge. A proper bath is a rare luxury. Usually, personal hygiene means a splash of cold water on the face and scrubbing dirt away with a rough cloth. Soap? That's a luxury for the rich. Ordinary folks use fireplace ash or leaves to scrub themselves. Brushing teeth? People chew the end of a stick until it's frayed, then scrub their teeth and rinse with river or rainwater. You glance down at your hands, calloused, sun-darkened, fingertips cracked from cold winds and dirty water. There's no lotion, and nobody cares about neat nails. Medieval personal care is as basic as it gets. Staying healthy is the only priority. Sometimes, you might only bathe once a month, usually for big festivals or in the summer heat. Bathing is a family event. You heat a giant pot of water, pour it into a wooden tub, and everyone takes turns. The water quickly turns from warm and clear to cold and cloudy. But no one complains, because a good wash is a rare treat, and so you realize. The hardest part isn't material poverty. It's learning to live with difficulty and accept simplicity, to live with nature without complaint. After breakfast and getting ready, your whole family gathers in the vast fields behind the village. The land is divided into small plots. Each family tends their own piece, growing barley, wheat, turnips, cabbages, or beans. There is no modern machinery. Everything depends on human hands and livestock. You grab a wooden hoe, your bare feet sinking into the muddy field. Your hands tremble from the cold, but you still grip the handle tightly. Work begins before the sun fully rises and ends only when night falls. If today is for plowing, you and your father lead an ox to the field, fix a wooden yoke to its neck, and push a heavy wooden plow through the soft earth. The ox snorts, the soil turns, birds call over the open land. a symphony of labor and nature. You soon realize that manual labor is a way of life, the only way to survive. No one in the village can afford to be lazy. Children, youth, and elders all help. The work changes with the seasons. Spring for sowing seeds, summer for weeding, autumn for harvesting, winter for repairs, making tools or weaving cloth. If you're not a farmer, you might be a craftsman, making shoes, forging iron, baking bread, or weaving fabric. Each trade is tough in its own way. The blacksmith sweats by the glowing forge, sparks flying. The carpenter saws and measures. The baker rises before dawn to knead dough and bake bread for the whole village in a stone oven. Work goes on, with only short breaks to sip water or nibble hard bread. Each day is a cycle. Waking, working, a quick meal, and more work. At noon, you rest under an old oak tree, leaning back and closing your eyes, listening to the rustling leaves and the buzzing flies, a rare moment of relaxation in the day. Sometimes there are special days when the entire village joins together, building a new house, repairing a bridge, everyone working side by side. No one is left behind, for only unity can help them through harsh winters and failed harvests. You also realize that labor here is not just a burden. It's how everyone connects, sharing joy and hardship. After a long day's work, the family gathers by candlelight, sharing stories and laughter, listening to the wind across the fields. No internet, no phones, just warmth and true togetherness. The day passes quietly and patiently. By dusk, as sunlight fades, you and your family walk home across the fields, hands still smelling of earth and sweat, but hearts full, despite all the hardship and scarcity. After a long day of work in the fields, your body is exhausted. Sometimes you feel a headache, a lingering cough, or notice that small cuts on your hands are swollen. But in the Middle Ages, this is perfectly normal. Illness is a constant companion, and there is almost no escape. You remember shivering through nights with a fever. Here, there are no fever reducers, no antibiotics. Even a simple cold can last for weeks and drain your strength. Toothaches or abscesses can torment you for months, since there are no dentists, and pain relief is only found in herbs or strong homemade spirits. From time to time, the village faces a major outbreak, plague, typhus, or smallpox. The whole community is anxious. People believe disease comes from fate or evil spirits. The most common treatment is herbs gathered by the village healer, or sometimes charms and rituals. Some wear garlic or mugwort around their neck, hoping to ward off sickness. Minor wounds, if not kept clean, easily become infected. Your fingers are cracked and dirty, with no bandages or ointment available. For serious injuries, broken bones, snake bites, animal attacks, your chances of survival are slim. You hear stories about wandering doctors, sometimes a monk, sometimes an old herbalist with ancient books and strange powders. But healing is never guaranteed. Surgery means cutting or burning the wound without any anesthesia. The pain is unimaginable to modern people. People gradually learn to live with sickness. They endure quietly, finding strength in family and community. Those who live to 60 or 70 are rare. Most people only hope to reach 40. Health is fragile, but love and togetherness are the truest medicine. Laws and harshness. If you think poverty is the hardest thing in the Middle Ages, you might be surprised by the strict rules and severe punishments of this era. Medieval society runs on iron discipline, village laws, and harsh penalties. From childhood, you are taught to obey every rule in the village. Never steal, never lie, never insult the landlord or nobles. Even a small mistake can bring a harsh punishment. One day, while working in the fields, you hear shouts from the village square. Someone has been caught stealing bread. They are tied up and publicly shamed, sometimes beaten, or even locked in an iron cage. For more serious crimes like rebellion or blasphemy, the punishment could be hanging or burning at the stake. These scenes are terrifying and leave a deep sense of fear in everyone. Rules also cover the smallest things. Curfews at night, no fighting in the street, keeping your fields tidy, or not hunting in the Lord's forest without permission. You realize that life here isn't just hard because of poverty, but also because of all the strict rules. Yet, it is this discipline that holds the community together and protects them from unexpected dangers. Lunchtime and medieval food. After a long morning of hard work in the fields, your stomach begins to rumble. When the sun is high, everyone takes a break for lunch. The air cools under the big trees, and people find a shady spot, carrying a simple cloth bag with their meal prepared early in the morning. You open your bag and find a chunk of hard black bread, a slice of sour goat cheese, and a few pieces of cold boiled turnip. Sometimes you have a little fresh herb, or if lucky, a rare piece of meat. But usually there is no meat, except on festival days or after a lucky hunt. Drinking water is never fully clean here. Most people drink a weak barley beer instead, brewed in the village, mild, low in alcohol, and safer than well water. Occasionally, on special days, you might taste a little wine or mead. Fresh fruit is rare, mostly saved for summer, while daily meals are plain vegetables, grains, or preserved foods. You chew your bread and listen to conversations about work, the harvest, and small village news. Lunchtime is a rare moment to forget worries, share little joys, and recharge for the afternoon. After lunch, you stretch out on the ground, resting your head on your arm, listening to the sounds of leaves rustling and distant birds calling. This short break gives you the strength to finish another long day in the medieval fields. The life of children and education. You watch the children of the village. There are no electronic sounds, no phone games, no television. Medieval children grow up surrounded by nature, fields, livestock, and wild bushes. Their lives are just as tough and often more lacking than those of adults. From a young age, children help with family chores, cleaning the house, watching younger siblings, feeding the chickens, watering vegetables, or even weeding and collecting firewood in the fields. Their games are made from pebbles, sticks, or natural objects. Sometimes they jump rope, play tag, or climb trees. During festivals, they sing folk songs, dance, or make toys from wood scraps and nuts. Education in medieval times is nothing like today. Only noble children, monks, or the wealthy learn to read. Most peasant children are illiterate, learning only by watching and doing. Boys from rich families are sent to castles to learn horseback riding, swordplay, Latin, and some arithmetic. Girls are taught sewing, cooking, and how to run a household. Some large villages have a small school taught by the village priest, but few children ever study much. Books are expensive, handwritten on animal skin, and ink is rare. Most learning comes by memory and stories passed from generation to generation. Despite all this, children grow up strong, resourceful, and much tougher than children today. They learn to protect themselves, help the family, accept hardship, and treasure every little happiness. Accidents and hidden dangers. Life in the Middle Ages is not only hard because of hunger, illness, and hard work, it is also full of hidden dangers and sudden accidents. Sometimes, just one careless moment can bring serious consequences. You often hear stories about bandits appearing near the village. When night falls, thieves roam the forest edges, ready to attack isolated homes. Villagers lock doors and hide food, and sometimes take turns staying up all night to guard their animals. Danger also comes from wild animals. Wolves, wild boars, even bears and lynxes live in the forests nearby. In the winter, hungry beasts venture close to the village, frightening everyone with their cries. There are dangers in daily life too. You might fall into a well, get kicked by a cow, or fall from the roof while repairing straw. With no hospitals or ambulances, every accident is faced with only the help of family and neighbors. Fire is always a constant fear. Houses made of wood and straw catch fire easily. Just a spark from the hearth can burn the whole village to the ground. There is also the threat of war. Some years lords and soldiers come through the land, taking food, burning houses, and forcing men into battle. Many never return. This is life in the Middle Ages. Even if you work hard and live well, you are always surrounded by risks. People remind each other to stay together, stay cautious, and always be ready for the unexpected. Weather and harsh climate. One of the greatest hardships of medieval life is the harsh climate. There is no heater, no electric fireplace, no fan. Everyone must face the forces of nature. And sometimes, nature is merciless. In winter, the sky is gray. Cold winds blow through every crevice, and everyone huddles close to the hearth. Breath turns to mist in the frigid air. Wood and straw are burned to keep warm, but it is never enough. Sometimes, heavy snow covers the land for weeks, and daily life stops. The elderly and children easily fall ill. Food is rationed carefully. Sometimes people even eat tree bark or roots to survive the coldest days. In summer, the heat is stifling. Insects swarm everywhere, bringing sickness. Working under the burning sun leaves you parched and sunburned. There is no sunscreen, no ice-cold drink, just the hope for a little shade and water. Spring and autumn bring sudden storms, muddy roads, flooded fields, and crops ruined by too much rain. Each season brings new challenges, and the whole village must prepare carefully. You soon understand, weather shapes the fate of the entire community. People here learn to depend on each other, sharing firewood, food, and hope to get through harsh days together. Spiritual life, festivals, and religion. Despite the hardships, medieval people found strength and comfort in their spiritual life and community. Religion played an essential role. Nearly every event in the village was tied to the church and faith. Every week, the sound of church bells echoes across the fields. On Sundays, everyone, rich or poor, young or old, attends Mass in the stone church, where candles flicker and the air is thick with the smell of incense. The priest tells stories of saints and miracles, urging people to hold on to faith, forgiveness, and hope. In this sacred space, people feel united and safe from daily worries. The church is more than just a place for prayer. It is the heart of the village, where people share news, organize help, and celebrate together in both joy and sorrow. the most anticipated moments are the festivals, harvest celebrations, Christmas, Easter, or the local feast day. These rare times, the whole village pauses work, decorates their homes, wears their finest, and gathers for feasts, songs, and games. Children run and play, adults sing folk songs, tell legends, and compete in traditional contests. For a while, worries are forgotten, replaced by laughter and the feeling of belonging. At night, people gather around the fire, sharing ancient legends of knights, dragons, saints, and mysterious spirits. These stories fuel imagination and bring hope for a better future. You realize, even in poverty, spiritual life, through faith, festivals, and community, gives people the strength to endure, to find hope, and to feel truly human. Medieval secrets, humor and the supernatural. Medieval life was not only about hardship, it was also filled with strange beliefs, superstitions, and even moments of laughter. People explained everything with legends, charms, or quirky remedies passed down through generations. If you had a headache, you might tie a dead mouse to your head. Or if your stomach hurt, you'd drink snail juice. To keep away evil spirits, people sprinkled ashes around their houses or burned special herbs. Going to the toilet was an outdoor adventure. At night, the whole family might share scary stories or silly jokes while using the simple outhouse, trying to chase away fear of ghosts and dark creatures. Villagers truly believed in spirits, witches, and curses. Children grew up listening to tales of wandering ghosts, witches in the woods, or mischievous goblins that played tricks on the unwary. But even these fears could be turned into laughter. People invented funny rituals, like spinning 3 times or spitting over their shoulder, to break bad luck, and teasing each other with playful pranks. In the end, these stories, jokes, and odd beliefs helped people forget their worries, bond with their neighbors, and make life a little brighter, even in the darkest times. Evening and the end of the day. As the sun sets, the village grows quiet. Evening comes early in the Middle Ages. People hurry home, lock their doors, and add more wood to the fire to keep the cold away. Dinner is simple, much like lunch. A bit of bread, some vegetable soup, maybe a piece of salted meat, or thick porridge if you're lucky. The family gathers around the table, sharing stories from the day, laughter, and quiet moments of comfort. After eating, everyone does small chores, mending clothes, preparing tools for the next day, or telling tales by the fire. Children curl up beside their mother, listening to old legends or quietly drifting to sleep. Outside, the wind rustles the trees, crickets sing, and sometimes the distant bark of a dog or an owl's call floats through the night. It is a simple music, a natural lullaby for those inside. At last, when all is done, you lie down under heavy wool blankets. You listen to the quiet of the cottage and the gentle breath of your family. Gratitude and warmth fill your heart. Whatever tomorrow brings, you face it together. Gentle reflection, looking back at a day in the Middle Ages. As the first rooster crows at dawn, a new medieval day begins. But now, you return to the present, leaving behind barley fields, thatched roofs, humble meals, dangers, and the simple joys of long ago. Perhaps you realize that even one day in that world helps you truly appreciate the comforts of modern life. Every good meal, every cup of clean water, a warm blanket, a brightly lit room, and all those little things we often overlook. But keep a little bit of peace, gratitude, and appreciation in your heart from this journey through time. When you face new challenges, remember you are stronger than you think, and as long as we have each other and hope, every day is a precious gift. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you're still awake, I hope these gentle stories and images of medieval village life have brought you calm, relaxation, and sweet dreams. Wishing you a peaceful night and sweet dreams. Wherever you are and whenever you are always safe in your own world.